Establishing boundaries, caregiver and client relationships. Welcome to today's in-service training on establishing boundaries between caregivers and clients. This training is brought to you by Constant Homemakers and Companions. Whether you are new to caregiving or have years of experience, understanding professional boundaries is one of the most important skills you can have. Boundaries protect the people we care for. They protect you, and they uphold the reputation of our organization. Let's get started. Training objectives. By the end of this training, you will be able to do 4 things. First, you will be able to define what professional boundaries are. Second, you will understand why boundaries matter in your day-to-day caregiving work. Third, you will be able to identify when a boundary has been crossed or violated. And fourth, you will be able to apply what you've learned to real-life situations you may face on the job. Why boundaries matter. So why do boundaries matter? There are 5 key reasons. Boundaries protect the client. The people we serve are often vulnerable, and clear boundaries keep them safe from harm or exploitation. Boundaries also protect you, the caregiver. They shield you from misunderstandings, accusations, and situations that could put your job or your license at risk. Boundaries maintain professionalism. They keep your role focused on care, not personal connection. They prevent misunderstandings between you and your client. And ultimately, boundaries build trust and safety. When clients and families know you are professional and consistent, they feel secure in your care. What are professional boundaries? Let's define professional boundaries. A professional boundary is the limit that defines the edges of a professional relationship. It separates helpful, safe behaviors from those that could be harmful. Think of it as an invisible line that keeps your relationship with a client focused, appropriate, and safe for both of you. Boundaries are not about being cold or uncaring. They are about being safely and professionally warm. Examples of boundary violations. Now let's look at what boundary violations look like. A boundary violation happens when that professional line is crossed in a harmful way. Examples include accepting large gifts or money from a client. This is never acceptable. Sharing your own personal problems with a client. Your client's time and mental energy should be focused on their own needs. Becoming overly involved in a client's personal or family life. And doing tasks that are outside of the client's care plan. Even if the client asks, if it's not in the plan, it is not your responsibility. Examples of healthy boundaries. What do healthy boundaries look like? Here are 4 examples of doing it right. Keeping your conversations professional and focused on the client's care needs. Respecting the client's personal space. Always ask before touching, and use only the touch necessary for care tasks. Following the care plan as written, it is your guide and your protection. And using appropriate language, speak to clients with dignity and avoid overly casual, disrespectful, or overly personal language. Types of boundaries. There are 4 main types of boundaries every caregiver needs to understand: physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, professional boundaries, and financial boundaries. We are going to look at each one of these in detail over the next few slides. Emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries are about keeping your feelings and your client's feelings in the right place. Here are 4 key rules. Do not share your personal problems with your client. They are not your therapist or your friend, and sharing personal struggles puts an unfair burden on them. Avoid dependency. Do not let a client become emotionally dependent on you to the point where they cannot function without you. Stay professional. Show empathy and warmth, but always from a professional place. And do not become family. Clients may treat you like family, and that can feel wonderful. But the moment you start acting like a family member instead of a caregiver, the boundary has shifted into dangerous territory. Physical boundaries. Physical boundaries are about appropriate touch and personal space. There are 3 rules to follow. First, always ask permission before any physical contact, even if you have provided care for this person many times before. Second, only provide necessary touch. Touch that is required to complete a care task as outlined in the care plan. Do not initiate hugs, hold hands for extended periods, or touch in ways that go beyond what is needed. And third, always follow the care plan. If a physical care task is not in the plan, do not do it without approval from your supervisor. Financial boundaries. Financial boundaries are among the most serious. There are 3 absolute rules. First, do not accept money or gifts, even if a client insists, even if it is their birthday, even if they say it will hurt their feelings if you refuse, you must politely decline. Second, do not borrow or lend money to a client under any circumstances. Third, do not handle a client's finances unless it is specifically assigned in your care plan and approved by your agency. Financial boundary violations can lead to termination and criminal charges. Professional boundaries. Professional boundaries are about staying in your lane in the best way possible. Stick to your job duties as defined by your role and your agency. Follow the care plan. It tells you exactly what you are authorized to do. Do not run personal errands for clients that are outside the scope of care. And maintain role clarity. You are a professional caregiver, not a friend, not a family member, not a personal assistant. Knowing your role protects everyone. Professional versus personal. This slide reinforces a critical distinction: the difference between professional and personal relationships. Keep all relationships with clients professional. Avoid becoming family. Even when clients and their families invite that closeness, you must maintain your professional role and always follow the care plan. It is the foundation of a professional, boundaried relationship. A helpful question to ask yourself: would I be comfortable if my supervisor could see exactly what I'm doing right now? If yes, you're in the right place. Boundary violations. Let's look at the 5 categories of boundary violations you are most likely to encounter. Accepting money or gifts, never allowed. Sharing personal contact information. Do not give clients your personal phone number, address, or social media. Doing tasks outside the care plan. If it's not in the plan, check with your supervisor first. Having inappropriate conversations. Avoid discussing topics that are overly personal, sexual, political, or that put you or the client in an uncomfortable position. And oversharing aspects of your personal life. Your client does not need to know about your relationships, finances, health issues, or family problems. Red flags to watch. For how do you know when a boundary issue is developing? Watch for these 4 warning signs. A client asking for personal favors, things like running errands, lending money, or doing things not in the care plan. Frequent personal calls or texts from a client outside of scheduled care hours. feeling emotionally attached to a client in a way that makes it hard to maintain your professional role, and breaking agency rules, even small ones, because a client asked you to or because it seemed harmless. These are all red flags that a boundary is being tested or crossed. How to maintain boundaries. So, how do you maintain boundaries in practice? 4 strategies. Follow agency policies. They exist to protect everyone, including you. When in doubt, refer to your agency's handbook. Communicate clearly. If a client asks for something that crosses a boundary, say so respectfully and directly. You can be kind and firm at the same time. Be respectful but firm. You do not need to apologize for maintaining your professional limits. A simple, warm, "I'm not able to do that, but here is what I can do," goes a long way. And document concerns. If something makes you uncomfortable, or if a client pushes against a boundary, write it down and report it to your supervisor. What to do if boundaries are crossed. If a boundary is crossed by a client or even by yourself, here is exactly what to do. Stay calm and professional. Do not react with emotion. Take a breath and respond professionally. Redirect the behavior. Gently steer the situation back to appropriate territory. For example, if a client offers you money, you might say, "I appreciate your generosity, but I'm not able to accept that. What I can do is make sure you're comfortable before I leave." Report to your supervisor the same day if possible. Do not wait. And document the incident in writing. Record what happened, when, who was present, and what was said. Documentation protects you and the client. Gifts and money. Let's spend a moment specifically on gifts and money because this comes up frequently. The rule is simple. Do not accept cash under any circumstances. Follow your agency's policy regarding gifts. In most cases, this means declining even small items, and always report offers. If a client offers you money or a significant gift, report it to your supervisor even if you declined. This protects you from any misunderstanding later. A good response to practice. That is so thoughtful of you, but my agency's policy does not allow me to accept gifts. It means a lot that you appreciate my work. Scenario 1. Client offers money to stay longer. Here is a real-life scenario. A client offers you money to stay longer than your scheduled time. What do? First, do not accept the money. Accepting payment outside of your agency's system is a boundary violation, regardless of the reason. Second, ask the client to call the office. If the client genuinely needs more hours, the right solution is to update the care plan through proper channels. And third, report to your supervisor. Let them know the client offered money and that you directed them to contact the office. This is the correct professional response. Client asks for tasks. Outside the care plan scenario 2. A client asks you to do something that is not in their care plan. Maybe it's cleaning a room that wasn't assigned, or running an errand, or helping a neighbor. What do? Politely let the client know that this task is not currently in your care plan. You might say, "I would love to help, but that's not something I'm authorized to do under your current care plan. Let's ask the office about adding it." Then report to your supervisor so the care plan can be reviewed and updated if appropriate. Never just do it without authorization, even if it seems harmless. Scenario 3. Client wants to include you in her will. Scenario. 3. And this is serious. A client tells you she wants to leave you $5,000 in her will because you've been so kind to her. She asks you to keep it between the two of you. First, is this a boundary crossing or a boundary violation? This is a violation. This is one of the most serious boundary issues in caregiving. Even though the client is initiating it out of kindness, accepting this or staying silent about it would be financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult, and it is illegal. The request for secrecy makes it even more serious. What must you do immediately? Report this to your supervisor. Today, right away. You should say, I am very touched by your kindness, but I am not able to be included in your will, and I am required to share this conversation with my supervisor. Do not keep this secret. Do not delay. Scenario 4. Client wants to connect on social media. Scenario 4. Mr. Davis asks you to add him as a friend on Facebook. He seems lonely, and he just wants to show you photos of his grandchildren. You genuinely feel for him. What are the risks? Adding a client on social media blurs the line between professional and personal. It exposes both of you to privacy risks. It can complicate your professional relationship and create confusion about your role. What is the appropriate response? Gently decline. You might say, I would love to hear about your grandchildren. Please bring photos to our next visit. My agency has a policy about social media connections with clients to protect everyone's privacy. Then make a point to ask about his grandchildren at your next visit. You can show genuine interest while still maintaining appropriate boundaries. Key takeaways. Let's close with 6 key takeaways from today's training. 1. Professional boundaries. Protect clients, caregivers, and the organization. They are not optional, they are essential. 2. Boundaries exist in multiple areas: physical, emotional, social, financial, digital, and role-related. 3. There is a difference between a boundary crossing and a boundary violation. Crossings can be corrected. Violations must be reported immediately. 4. When in doubt, ask your supervisor. There is no penalty for seeking guidance. There may be consequences for staying silent. 5. Your self-care directly impacts the quality and safety of the care you provide. Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. 6. You are never alone. Reporting concerns is a sign of professional integrity and courage, not weakness. Closing strong boundaries creates safe care. Thank you for your time and your commitment to professional, compassionate caregiving. The work you do every day makes a real difference in people's lives. By maintaining clear professional boundaries, you are not only protecting your clients, you are protecting yourself, your career, and the mission of this organization. If you have any questions after today's training, please reach out to your supervisor. Thank you, and keep up the excellent work.